Hey, it's Cam.
And Hannah.
I use they, them pronouns.
And I use she, her pronouns.
We are recording on Seminole.
And RS land.
And we are conservation
baddies. This is a podcast where we talk, inform, and highlight some baddies that we know in the conservation field.
Welcome to episode 9. Episode 9 is called Farming.
Okay.
This episode is all about farming. Yeah. It's a very broad topic, so it's not going to cover everything about farming, but...
yeah. Should we say urban farming?
Yeah, let's say urban farming.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, let's say that because I think that's what I did some of my research on. But before we go into that, I just wanted to let everybody who listens to this know that we have an Interviewee Forum now, a Google form that if you go on our Instagram and you can click on our link tree and there'll be a link to the form if you want to be on our podcast. You can fill it out, you know.
Thank you, Hannah. Because Hannah made that, not me.
Just, you know, it's kind of hard to track people down nowadays.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Dare you. It's hard to track people down. Everybody's so busy, so we just thought this way, when people are free and have some time, they can reach out to us. Yeah. Do you have any catching up things?
Catching up. I had a mental breakdown last night.
Okay.
Did I tell you?
No, but I kind of I didn't really have one, but...
I really wanted to go on this alligator survey, and I was already at my hours.
Okay.
So I wanted to text my supervisor, because that's what you do when you have a job. You text your supervisor, like, hey, is it okay if I take on 8 more hours? Because that's what it would have been.
8 hours long?
Well, it's like 5 hours in the field, and it takes an hour and a half to get there.
Okay. Yeah.
And an hour and a half to get back.
Yeah.
So it's 8 hours. And nobody answered.
Yeah.
That's catching up.
Maybe they'll have another one.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh. Dang.
I see you have Diva Cup for yours.
Oh yeah. So I was gonna do another.
Might be controversial.
I don't know. This might be controversial. So we're gonna get into Hannah's take again. My take on a sustainable product. I chose Menstrual Cups this month, aka the Diva Cup. But there's like a bunch of different brands. I think that's just one brand. Yeah, I feel like it might be controversial because some people don't like talking about this subject or topic. But I mean, it happens to like half of the population. I don't know how many people. It happens to a lot of people. So clearly, I feel like there should be sustainable ways to have your period. So for people who don't know, a menstrual cup is like it's a like reusable type of menstruation product, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of weirdly. It's a cup. I'm pretty sure most people have seen it. You can look it up.
Right?
Yeah, it's like silicone, I believe. So I feel like I should have done. I'm doing this one right now. Like I'm doing my take on the menstrual cup because I've had mine for 3 years now. So I feel like I've had a long time to like decide whether I like it or not. And I know that some people it's definitely not for them. But I feel like you should give it a try if you're into if you're curious. But I was also gonna highlight like that there's other reusable and like sustainable period products. So I feel like over the last couple of years they've become more broad, I guess. There's like more companies that are making them. I know that there's underwear, like period underwear that absorbs. I haven't tried it. Reusable pads that I haven't tried, but I know some people who like them. And then the cool thing, though, is that I found a while ago, apparently there's brands that make reusable tampons, but, like, the tampon part isn't reusable. It's the applicator, and you buy the insides, that's just the tampon, and it's just all cotton. So the whole thing will degrade over time eventually, or it's, like, compostable. I think cotton is. It's, like, better because you're not just throwing, like, plastic every time.
Well, yeah. Well, is the end, like, the tail cotton?
Yeah.
Everything's cotton?
Yeah. And then, like, the applicator, I don't know what it's made out of, but, like, that's reusable. You know, the plastic part that normally, yeah. See, I don't know if this is a weird topic, but I thought it was important because for the last, like, 3 years, I haven't had to, like, buy anything else. And it's been really helpful for me, but...
You're getting hot, too.
Yeah, it's hot in here, you're right. I have some statistics from Global Citizen that they ranked all different period products, including the ones that I was mentioning before. And they said that Diva cups or menstrual cups are the most environmentally friendly and cost-effective option, and they can last up to 6 years with proper care. And they're estimated to have less than 1.5% environmental impact. They are estimated to have less than 1.5% of the environmental impact of disposable tampons.
Okay.
And they save a person who menstruates 2,400 pads or tampons in their lifetime. And we also know that tampons and pads are taxed higher than anything else.
Yeah.
Or they're like taxed as a luxury product. So that's
they should be
another
free.
thing. They should be free.
The government should send you every month, like,
They should be
5
free.
pads and 5 tampons.
And we should get paid time off for having a period.
Yeah.
Not just expected to work.
Have we ever talked about this?
I don't think
there
so.
are some cultures that I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know which culture.
They,
Have we
like-
talked about it?
No, we haven't, but I've heard they let the people who are having the period like rest, and they take care of things, and you don't have to work.
Yeah.
Because you're like, it's an intense time of the month.
Culture and menstruate. I'm just gonna go on Wikipedia. Oh wait, NPR.
Oh, I love NPR.
Okay. Hold on.
Oh,
Let me see if
so
I can find this quickly.
If I'm gonna rate menstrual cups, 1 to 5 baddies, I give it a 5 baddie. It takes a little while to get used to.
Really?
Yeah, it takes a little while to get used to. And like I said, it's not for everybody, because I know people who tried it and then didn't like it, and like, you know, some people who are too afraid to try it totally get it, because it's kind of intimidating when you look at it. But like, it saves you having to buy stuff like every month or every couple of months. Yeah, that's like I guess the main reason. And it's like not that, honestly, also it's like nice because you can leave them in for like 12 hours at a time. You change it twice a day, and you don't have to worry about constantly, like, you know, I don't know, for like whenever I was wearing tampons, like, I'd have to change it more often than that.
Yeah.
And this, it's just, you know.
Do you have a heavy flow? Can I ask you?
Yeah. I do for like the first 2 days.
Yeah.
So sometimes like you can feel when it's like gonna leak because maybe it's too full, but then you just, I don't know. But there are different sizes, and I have the smaller size. I never upgraded.
Oh, really? I didn't even know there were other sizes.
Yeah.
I have one. And I would rate it a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Baddies. And here's my reason.
Yeah, I like this.
So the thing is, the only thing I don't like is that I feel like I have a really heavy period, and so I would have to wear like a pad under it, which is like kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
And also like when you're taking it out, it could spill.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's messy.
If you left it, especially if you left it in for a really long time. And I also didn't like that you have to like boil it every time like before you use it, like, because I just like, it kind of grosses me out, like, to boil something like that in my pot. Like, maybe if you had a designated pot.
My mom made me have a designated pot.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, you're not boiling that thing in my kitchen.
Yeah.
Understood.
So, yeah. But it's, like, good every once in a while. If every once in a while, like, you use it instead of a tampon, I think you're still reducing it.
When it's, like, light. Yeah, okay, that's true. And I do, like, I appreciate you saying this, because those are things that concern a lot of other people that I'm okay with, because I guess I'm just, like, I don't have a problem with, like, boiling it in a pot.
Yeah.
Or it's really messy, but, like, I don't know, maybe I like the mess. But
Ooh.
If we're gonna average our scores.
It would be 4.
It's a 4. Wow, I had to use a calculator. 4 out of 5 baddies.
And I have, like, I'm going to name 5 groups of people who have historically treated menstruation as, like, sacred things. Okay. Sometimes, I don't know about all these, but... Okay, so the Yurok, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, a tribe from the northwest coast, has a group of aristocratic women who saw their periods as a time for purifying themselves. They were on a shared menstrual cycle and did a series of rituals that they said was a period of their most heightened spiritual experience.
Ooh,
we should do that.
Yeah.
The Orangus woman from Borneo. These are just different perspectives on periods. Now I'm reading it.
Oh, I gotcha.
The Ulithi women of the South Pacific, breastfeeding women joined menstruating women in huts. It's kind of a party atmosphere. The huts can be a torturous experience for a woman in some places.
Okay, wait, what?
I don't know what this is, but I do know that, like, in some cultures, like, if you're on your period, you have to, like, separate yourself.
Oof.
But my point is there are some cultures, couldn't find it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But that, like, yeah, like you said, like, they would be, like, in a nice bed, relaxing, because it is, like, a stressful time. And also, I want to shout out, this is, wait, the smarter, period. I have, like, a hormonal, I think I have Pmdd, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and it's like PMS, but it causes severe irritability, depression, or anxiety in the week or two before your period starts. And so it's like PMS, but like
way worse.
And I think I have it, and I just want to shout out, if you think you have that, go to your doctor, because I still haven't.
Oh, can they do stuff for it? Like give you stronger medicine or something?
Yes, I think so. It's like a hormonal imbalance, so they just have to give you, I don't know, like testosterone or estrogen or something.
Interesting. Yeah, go to
Probably
your doctor.
Estrogen, because I feel like that's more testosterone.
Because isn't testosterone what is more when you're on your period? You get more testosterone?
Yeah, I think that's what causes irritability.
Yes.
Anyway, we talk about episode 9 period.
Hey, listen, it might be weird for some people, period farming. It's a very important topic, and I feel like it should be mentioned more, like, publicly, because a lot of people have periods, and, like, you know, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And also not the best for the environment if you do just, like, the two main, like, traditional methods that a lot of people were taught about. But also, going away from this, I want to change my rating of the Loofah.
Oh my gosh, okay.
From the last episode, I think I gave it a 3.5. I'm also going to give it a 4 out of 5. I'm upping the ranking because I said it didn't suds or get, like, lathery, and I tried a different bar soap and it worked. So I think it was just the soap that I was using.
Was the other one liquid soap?
No, it was still a bar soap, but I think, like, whatever it was made out of, it lathered more.
Okay.
So yeah, it's going up in ranking, but I'm not going to give it a 5 because there's other reusable things you could have. And the loofah, like, even though it can be composted, like, it can't be reused forever.
Yeah.
So.
Well, nothing can be reused
washcloth.
Forever, to be fair. Well, eventually washcloths even, like, degrade.
I guess that's true. Depressing. Well, it's getting a 4 out of 5. A 5's going to have to wow me. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
We'll get there one day.
We will. Yeah.
Well, you gave a 5 for the Menstrual Cup.
Oh, duh. Yeah. Okay, well, its overall rating wasn't a 5.
Okay.
So I'm taking your rating into consideration because you have experience with it. So it's like,
okay,
you know,
okay.
We need different opinions.
Yeah, it would be really hard for me to give something a 5, I feel like. Because I'm so hateful.
Oof. But I don't think you are.
I'm hateful when it comes to products. I'm like, ugh, I have to wash it. This sucks. 0.
It doesn't wash itself.
0 out of 5.
Negative.
Self-cleaning menstrual cups are going to happen in the future.
Hey.
Oh my god, did you... I got a tangent again.
No, you're good.
There's like, so do you believe that in like 100 years or whatever, we're going to have like nanotech and then we're all going to be like cyborgs and it's going to fix stuff in our body naturally? I like that.
But the thing with that is, listen, I'm afraid of AI.
It wouldn't be AI. It would be like little nanobots.
But couldn't they like merge together and make you a robot?
What the hell?
I don't know.
That's scary.
It would be cool. It would be like just for your body to be able to fix itself.
Yeah.
But then I feel like the human race is more doomed because of something catastrophic happened. Like, then you can't even live. Like, how are you going to live without your little technology, you know?
Maybe they'll be, like, sustained on your blood. Like a parasite.
Oh, my God. I don't even know, because technology is so far away. I don't understand any of it.
That's fair.
So. That would be cool, though.
Oh, you're
It would just freak me out. No, it would be cool, but I wouldn't want them in me.
Here's the thing. It's not... I get what you're saying, but they're so small. Like, what are they going to do? An uprising? Like, they would have to all, like, form, like, a giant monster.
I don't know. I feel like it could happen.
Okay, fair.
I don't know. Okay, moving on to the next topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go on to the next topic, which is our weird animal and plant. Do you want to go first? Because I've been talking. Or do you want me to go first?
I don't mind either way. I feel like yours have to do more with gardens than mine.
Okay, I can go first. So my weird animal for this month is moles. I picked it because moles live underground and so do plant roots. So I just thought maybe moles like gardens and they like to eat gardens, because we have moles in our yard, and my mom and I have been wanting to like start garden. Well, we like plant plants in pots and stuff, but I'm so afraid to plant plants. And those are such cute pictures. I'm so afraid to plant plants in the ground because I'm like, the moles are going to eat them. Like, I thought that that's what they do. Turns out they don't. Turns out that they eat insects. And sometimes they eat fish. They come out of the dirt in the ground. No, it says that sometimes, like the star-nosed mole is a good swimmer and it'll eat fish and aquatic invertebrates. So that's such a cute graphic. Yeah. So.
Okay.
But basically, I like got ahead of myself. Moles are these cute little rodents, and they burrow in the ground, and they have really sensitive snouts and long claws, and they dig tunnels, and they just have a bunch of tunnels underground. And it says that their snout is 6 times more sensitive to touch than a human hand.
Ooh.
So they're just like feeling around with their nose, because they don't have really good eyes because they live underground, because they don't need to see. And then it says, rather than having fur that lay flat and point toward their tail like most mammals, eastern moles, which I think we have down here, but I could be wrong, they have the most dense fur that sticks straight up, so that when they like back up into their tunnels, the dirt doesn't fall on them.
Oh.
And then, okay, so word of the day, moles are fossorial, which means that they spend a lot of their time digging underground burrows, which I said earlier, which is where they eat, I guess, the bugs, but what I thought were roots, but they don't eat those. There is an underground animal, I feel like, that eats roots, though.
Like mice?
Maybe. It says that most species of moles are stable, which is good, but landscapers sometimes consider them to be pests since they can damage lawns and gardens, but maybe that's through, like, digging. But it said, this article is from the National Wildlife Federation, the article said that moles are very important because they aerate the soil and eliminate harmful insects. So moles good, moles not bad. Moles no eat your garden. Moles are not gonna eat your garden. Music to my ears.
Yeah.
Look them up, they're very cute.
They're very cute. Look at this picture that I found.
Oh, it's so cute, it's eating an earthworm. Oh, so cute. Yeah.
I just love things that live underground.
Yeah.
Like, I love mice.
I didn't know mice lived underground.
So the reason why I was thinking about it, because in gopher tortoise burrows, like, a bunch of different animals live in it, and mice create little, I don't know what kind of mouse, but they create little offshoots from the burrow, and they make a little home, and I think that's cute.
That's really cute, actually. I forgot about that, gopher tortoise burrows. That, like, other animals live in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like animals that live underground, too, because I feel like they get it. They're, like...
They're in tune. They're earthbenders.
Yeah.
They literally are earthbenders.
Moles are the original earthbender.
Avatar, yeah.
Watch that show. Really good.
I really want to rewatch it. Anyway.
Oh, I love that show. Okay, your turn.
My weird plant is not an actual plant, and fun fact, it's not a seahorse either. It's called the Leafy Sea Dragon.
Oh, is it a dragon?
Oh wait, let me show you a picture.
Is it a dragon made out of
They are
leaves
the
that lives
most
in the sea?
beautiful things. They're rare fish.
Oh, that's so cool. That's not a seahorse?
It's not a seahorse. It's
I
a fish.
thought it was.
It looks like a seahorse though, and they blend in with like the seagrass and seaweed, and I think they're from Australia. Yeah, they're in Western Australia, and they're actually threatened from pollution and excessive fertilizer runoff.
Oof.
And they've also been stripped of their habitats and then sold in the pet trade and used for quote-unquote Asian medicines, which I don't know anything about that, but
yeah.
Every day they slurp up thousands of mysid shrimp. Is that how you pronounce it?
Where's the word?
Mysid.
I think so, yeah.
Mysid shrimp.
That's so cute. They slurp them up.
small shrimp-like animals, but I don't think they're actually true shrimps. And they live in the algae and
Hey, listen, I love it.
seagrasses. Okay, and they have like a tube-like mouth like straw, and I think they're the size of a teacup. I don't know. They're very small, and they're rare, and I love them. And they look like, and I wish they were bigger.
They literally look like seagrass.
Ew.
If someone stuck seagrass onto a seahorse, like it just looks like a seahorse and then wavy little like structures coming off of it for camouflage. Oh, I don't like that. I kind of like it.
There's a picture of a mermaid inspired by Leafy Sea Dragons. And then they look like they're different colors, too. My thing is they look like a Pokemon.
How is that? Go down. How is that not a seahorse? That looks like a seahorse. That's a fish?
It's a fish.
It's the cutest fish I've ever seen. Look at that mouth.
Here,
slurping.
I have fun facts from the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Unlike seahorses, male sea dragons don't have a pouch. Instead, they carry their eggs on the underside of their tails in a brood patch that develops. And they contain capillaries that deliver oxygen-rich blood to the cup-like tissue.
So the males still take care of the babies?
Yeah, I love that. And at birth, they're only 0.8 inches long.
Oh my gosh.
Within 1 year, they can grow up to almost 8 inches.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Does it say how big they get or no?
I think their length is up to 20 inches.
Okay. Wow.
Averaging 12 inches.
A ruler. Now I want to go snorkeling.
I do want to go snorkeling, actually.
There's a cool place in West Palm I think I told you about.
Let's go.
Okay. Because you don't even have to pay. It's free, I think.
Oh, really?
I think you can rent equipment there.
Yeah, I know. I don't have equipment.
I just have a mask and a snorkel. Okay, that's really cool. I never knew what those things were called, and I always thought that they were seahorses.
Yeah, I didn't know till today that they were.
Nice. Okay. Now on to the main topic. Okay, so our topic this episode, which we said earlier, is about farming because we have an awesome interview with an awesome person about urban farming later on in this episode. And so I was thinking that since we're talking about, or we're going to be interviewing about urban farming, and it seems like this past like couple years, farming, like backyard farming, has become like a huge thing ever since COVID. I wanted to see like if there were any trends or like research on how many people have kind of been, I guess, starting farms in their backyard. There's not really anything on it. I found like one study that was in Canada, so I don't know how well it like translates over here, but okay, it said that, so this result, or the study showed that, okay, so they like surveyed a bunch of people, and 51% of the people they surveyed said they grow at least one type of fruit or vegetable in a home garden. And then it said that of those people that were growing the fruits and veggies, 17.4% started growing food at home in 2020 during the COVID pandemic. And 66% of these new home gardeners agreed that the current pandemic influenced their decision to start producing food at home. And then it said that 95.6% of new home food gardeners reported spending more time at home during 2020. So I feel like the pandemic definitely influenced people. And now I'm curious as to like how much it's going to keep growing because everything's so much more expensive now. And then apparently it's going to get more expensive with what's happening in Russia and the Ukraine. And so I don't know. But I feel like I just gave a lot of stats. So, whoa.
That's interesting, though.
Oh, and the interesting thing about this study was that they said while gardening information is accessible to everyone in Canada, there is one group who is more likely to have been gardening for the long term. Generally, these individuals are middle-income earners with higher levels of education, either male or female, who have a backyard. So, like, I feel like that cuts out a lot of people.
I think it's because, like, they have the time to farm if they're not a farmer.
And the space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it said that, however, new gardeners who have taken up gardening due to conditions caused by the global pandemic are younger span income brackets and don't necessarily have a backyard. But they don't know if these new gardeners are going to continue to grow food once the pandemic is over and competition for disposable income increases. Oh, and then this study was just done at the end of the first summer of the pandemic. But I don't know, I just thought that was interesting because I think I put on here, I was interested in this because I don't know about you, but like growing up, we always had like fruit trees and food growing in our backyard. So like when I first like on TikTok and stuff and on social media saw that people were starting to grow food and stuff, I thought it was cool, but I was like, oh, okay, that's like kind of normal to like just go outside and pick food. I don't know if that's similar for you.
Yeah, so we got all our food from like my abuelos still have like a garden full of fruits. Not really vegetables, but like I think like they made, what is that onion called? The one that you chop up.
Oh, green
like a blade
onions?
of grass. Yeah, green onion.
Yeah.
They had like
Or
that
chives.
maybe.
It's one of those two.
I think it was a green onion. But yeah, they've always had like fruit trees and stuff growing up, and I did a thing on it. Remember that class we had to take at UF? That was like the life something.
Yeah, the freshman year class.
The Good Life.
Yes.
I remember.
Class.
I made like I recorded like a thing about it.
You did
Good
like
Life.
a video?
I think so. Yeah, I don't remember. But anyway.
No, because I agree with that. Like, I guess I forgot my grandma had a whole ass garden when I was growing up, and like we would just go out there and pick like peas and raspberries and whatever. But even like in my parents' yard, we just had like mangoes and avocados and papaya and all these other things. So I don't know. I guess it wasn't as weird as a subject to me, but I guess a lot of people didn't grow up like that.
Yeah, I think that's a privilege because like my parents couldn't have that because their backyard was pretty small, and like they were middle income. Like they weren't even like, you know, they had a good income, so like even then they didn't have enough room for a garden. So I feel like and they didn't have time either because they were always working. So I don't know. I just feel like certain people had access to that and then other people didn't.
Yeah, totally.
And if you're like living in New York City, like a city, you're not gonna have that.
You don't have space.
So
Oh, that's true. I just,
But that's also a sign of our society.
Not
Today.
having any. So
Because we're becoming like that, like Hannah, who we're going to interview. I'm pretty sure Hannah said this, like we're becoming more and more disconnected from where our food comes from.
Yeah. And it's crazy to me because so when I first was thinking about this, I said like it's interesting if we talk about our ancestral roots with the environment and with farming and gardening, because I feel like everybody's ancestors garden. Like you had to. That's how you were going to eat your food. And now nobody gardens, but it's like, yeah, we're still like out of touch from the environment, but we're also super out of touch, at least in I feel like our society here, like we're out of touch with like our past.
Not only that, there's like legal stuff too now. Like,
which is so dumb.
Yeah, it's all like focused on like making money and like, and then I grew up like, even though I grew up with like a garden like that, I always like believed that you couldn't like grow food from the grocery store, which I think we already debunked.
Yeah,
right?
They made it seem like you can't.
Yeah, it was
totally
like
can't.
a myth growing up just to deter you, and then like
I have 2 pineapples growing at home from
I can't
grocery
wait
store pineapples.
to see them.
I know, they better have some good
You should
babies.
make them like heart shaped.
Can I do that?
Yeah,
Oh,
you just put like
okay.
a mold down.
Oh,
where they're growing.
Oh yeah, I'll make them
They
heart
grow
shaped.
into it. Oh my god.
Oh my
that's so
gosh. Now I want to make watermelons so I can do that. I've seen people do
I
watermelons.
really want to grow a watermelon because I eat
We're
watermelons
talking about this
all the time.
So good.
They're the best fruit in
Yeah.
the world.
They're so good.
I can't stop talking about that. Anyway.
Yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. So hopefully like maybe with this new movement like people will get more in touch with the environment and like, you know, farming and gardening.
You have a lot of articles here.
I know. I don't know if you want to add anything because this is just random.
I did find something, but
Yeah.
how long? I found something about urban farms in Palm Beach County.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Riviera Beach, where I used to work, which has a food desert, and it's called
Really? It has a food desert?
Yeah, really bad. It's called the Urban Farm and Restorative Garden, and it offers crops from beets, cauliflower, garlic, rosemary, tomatoes, and it's aimed at food deserts in other parts of the county, such as Belle Glade, Boynton Beach, Jupiter, and West Palm Beach. So in Palm Beach County, just 1 in 4 adults eat the recommended serving of fruits and vegetables per day, and nearly half of adults are overweight or obese, which I am overweight. And I used to eat a lot of, like, fast food, and I don't have, like, it goes over in the article, but the only access, like, I really have to a grocery store is Publix or Walmart, and in the pandemic also has, like, another aspect to it because I don't want to go grocery shopping, so Publix is actually the cheapest option.
Damn, I wasn't expecting that.
For food, because, like, I can barely get pickup in Walmart. Like, a lot of people are picking.
Walmart is scary. It's so many people in there now. Yeah, the pandemic does not make it, no.
So, and also at any given time, there are 200,000 people who are hungry in Palm Beach County, and 50,000 of those are children. Isn't that sad?
That's really sad.
And then I put, don't go to Publix.
Don't go to Publix.
But, like, their main goal
Unless
behind this was to
okay.
not have to go to Publix like I do.
Why? Oh, that's what their thing is for? That's what their farm is for?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because, so, like, food deserts don't necessarily mean that there aren't any grocery stores. It can also mean that, like, there are high-end, like, Trader Joe's
or Whole Foods.
Or even the fresh market. Did you know the fresh market is super expensive? I just found this out. I don't really go there.
Sprouts or something?
I think Sprouts is also really expensive. It's more expensive than Publix. So, and there aren't obviously access to, like, farmers and locally grown crops, which I do have in Loxahatchee. They have, like, Bedner's Farm, which I don't really support Bedner's Farm, and here's why, and I'll be really quick. The Bedner's Farm has, like, this thing that they use, this, like, booming thing, and I'm sure other farmers use it to keep birds, like, away from their farm, but the thing is, they are literally right next to, like,
the refuge,
refuge, so that's really bad for the wildlife that live there, but I guess they're allowed to use it, but I bought a Florida peach from there, and it was, like, the size of a walnut.
Oh my gosh, was it good? You didn't want to bite?
It was okay.
Did it have a seed on the inside?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know we had peaches.
Yeah, we do. They were, like,
only
really
Georgia
small.
had peaches.
No, actually, fun fact, Georgia has they're not even, like, the peach farming capital. Like,
but
they actually don't have that many peach farms. I don't know where that came from. Like, I don't know what that's based on, but
isn't that like how we're the Sunshine State, but all summer it just rains?
It's the same thing. Like, yeah, I just heard that, like, they don't actually have that many peach farms.
I wonder if there's, like,
but maybe their peaches are really good.
So how do you get into this farm? Do you just have to be, like, a resident of where you live? Like, could you get food from this place?
You know what? I read the whole article, and I honestly didn't find very much on it. I think because it's new, they're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
Because this was from January of this year. So.
You know what I kind of wish? I wish I lived in a community where each house was like, we're going to have this type of fruit, or we're going to grow this type of tree, and then we all just went around sharing our fruits with each other. So, like, it's like, instead of you having to focus on one whole garden, you're focusing on one type of food.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be so much better?
No.
Oh,
listen.
okay.
No, listen, that's my dream. Like, I literally want to live on a commune.
Yeah, and a non-culty commune.
A non-culty commune, which I think, like, as long as everyone has their own individual, like, money and property, I think that you'll be fine.
You're just, like, living.
It's when, like, you all, like, have, like, you're not allowed to have your own income or property. That's where it goes a little culty, I feel like. Yeah. But I want everyone to, like, be able to eat whatever they want and put in equal effort. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, we just chill, dude.
Yeah, we're all just friends. We're just hanging out. Okay, well, we gotta start it in the future because that sounds amazing.
When I have enough money to buy a house, I want to start a farm. But it has to be, like, one of those rural places because you can't do farms in urban areas or suburban areas.
There's, like, certain cities. There are certain cities that, like, won't let you have like chickens and other things, which I feel like is messed up.
I feel like chickens can have a lot of diseases, though.
Yeah, but, like if you do it properly. So, like, when my family had chickens, we had them in, like, a certain part of our yard, you know. They were fenced in. They got out because they're smart chickens. But we put them back in, and, like, they weren't loud or, you know, they're just hanging out. But my neighborhood, nobody cares. Like, there's some chickens, I mean, they just, like, walk all around, and they go to the gas station, they hang out.
Love that for them.
Yeah, they're just hanging. Nobody hits them. No, you know. It's
Thank
nice.
God.
Yeah, people know.
Well, hopefully not hit them.
I don't know. I wouldn't do that with my chickens. We kept ours, you know. We didn't let them wander.
Yeah.
These people do. I don't know, but...
Do they have leashes on them? Like
no, that would be cute, though. That would be cute. But yeah. Yeah, food deserts and, like, not having access to affordable, like, fruits and vegetables is a real problem, and it's so sad because literally should be free.
Yeah.
It's food. The government should, you know, I don't know. The government should be, like, having community gardens, I feel like, for people to just go and take food.
I still don't have my EBT card. I'm, like, blocked out from my account.
When did you sign up for that?
And I'm too depressed to call them.
You want me to call them for you?
Like, months ago. I would love for you to call them.
Okay, give me the information. I'll call them tomorrow. I will. I'm not kidding. I'm not doing anything tomorrow.
I went there in person, by the way. They were the rudest ever. Like, I looked at the thing, and it was, like, the closest thing to me, which was 20 minutes away. So if I didn't have a car, how would I get an EBT card? I wouldn't.
I thought they can mail it to you.
I guess, but, like, if you don't have access to, like, a computer or something, like, you need to, like, bring your ID and stuff and, like, show them a bunch of documents to get it, which I did it online, but, like, even online I got blocked anyway. So, it has a 1-star on Google Maps out of, like, thousands of reviews. Like, that's how bad it is. And I went there, and it was, like, insane. Like, this lady didn't know how to use a printer.
Oh, my God.
And the front desk lady was so rude. She's like, what, you've never seen a printer before? Some people have it, babe. Some people don't have computers. Like, why would they need a printer for? Some people don't have office jobs. Like, it's just a printer. Like, she couldn't take 5 seconds to teach this person how to use a printer. And then she was rude to me because...
use a printer. It was a lady who was there to print something?
Oh, no, yeah. Some lady went there to, like, fax her documents. Yeah. And she was so rude. And even I've used a printer, and I didn't know how to use it. I was like, wait, which side is it again? And she gave me attitude. I was like, this is your job. Like, you're supposed to be helping
people. I never get that. That's messed up. I'm going to recommend something.
Okay, yeah, let's just move on.
Oh, should we?
I was trying to tie it with what you were saying, but
what was I saying
couldn't remember before playing my
Well, we were talking about something else that, like, we were talking about your EBT, which we're probably going to cut
to.
Oh,
okay. End of story. Don't go to Publix.
Oh, yeah.
Buy organic if you can, and call the people, the Florida, I guess Department of Children and Families.
Oh, and call them?
Just call them. Because doing it online is not fun. Just call them.
What are you talking about? Call them. Call who?
Department of Children and Families for EBT.
I just wasn't sure. Okay. Also try to grow fruits and veggies if you want to. It's not as hard as some people think. I think
it takes a while to get started.
It takes but I think if you do your research and you like focus on 1 or 2 plants and then you like learn how to take care of that plant and you follow it, you'll be successful, I feel like. Unless you have bad mojo and bad energy. Because plants definitely pick up on that. Plants pick up on that. Okay. You gotta say nice things to them. Okay. So, now on to recommendations. I'm recommending a children's book that almost made me cry the other day. Because my mom is a 4th grade teacher and she bought this book called 3 Lines in a Circle. Michael J. Long.
Oh.
I knew it. Okay, it's written by Michael J. Long and Carlos Valles, and illustrated by Carlos Valles. So it's a kid's book it basically is about the peace sign, and at the end of the book, it like tells you how the peace sign came about, how it's made, but the actual book is just talking about how important the peace sign is, and it showcases how it's important for everybody, and I mean, it literally like touched on everybody. like white people, black people, Muslim people, trans people, LGBTQ people, like, and I even said animals. And I was like, okay, this is like kind of a childhood. I didn't have books like that when I was a kid that were like, everybody deserves peace.
Yeah, that's cute. I want to read it.
I don't know. It was nice. It was a nice book. It made me emotional. Ooh. Ooh.
Mine is The Witcher on Netflix, which I didn't think I would be getting into, but I watched it with some friends, and now I'm obsessed. And we watch it like whenever we can now.
You watched the whole thing?
No, we still haven't.
Okay, can you explain what The Witcher is to me like you did in your text?
So The Witcher is a video game originally, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Which I've never played again because the main character is like this burly man with like white hair and white eyebrows. But listen, he's actually hot. Okay, in the show he's hot, and he's gay. He's bi. He's a bi king in my mind, and The Witcher is a genetically mutated human being.
Okay.
Who is not supposed to, quote unquote, have human feelings. But I think, I don't want to spoil anything, but that's what's supposed to happen. And they are basically designated monster hunters. And I don't get it. Like, I watched the show and I don't get it. But that's the premise.
I found a description that you texted me the other day.
Oh, okay, what was it?
You said it's about a dude who's a mutant and kills monsters, but it's Henry Cavill in a platinum blonde wig. I'm like, okay, I gotta
And the wig shifts like the whole show. It's so bad.
I'm gonna watch it.
He makes me, oh my god. You would look so good with bleach eyebrows. I'm like trying to get everyone to do it except for me because look, I have to show you this picture. Did I send you this picture?
Did you
would look so
Photoshop it on me? Because listen, I'll try anything out.
There's a filter on TikTok that I use.
After I bleach it, I could color it.
This is what I look like. But I think you would, like, imagine platinum blonde hair.
Oh, you'd have to have the platinum blonde hair?
Yeah, like instead of like no eyebrows, you would have like platinum eyebrows.
Where's the filter on?
TikTok.
Is that your recommendation?
Yeah, that's my recommendation.
What's the filter called?
While I look for it, because it might take a while.
While you look for it, I will go on to Undercover Heroes. So my Undercover Hero this month is somebody called Ariel Burgess. This person hosts online ecological grief and empathy workshops. And I found out about them through a Doris Duke email a long time ago. I tried to sign up for a workshop, but it was quickly full. So I haven't gone to a workshop yet, so I don't have any, like, feedback on that. But they have a 12-week course that costs some money, but they also have free workshops. I think, like, they just show up on the website when they are, and I think that they might sometimes be in person, but they also have a free monthly online gathering to help build a community around emotional elements of climate change and ecological topics, which I think is very important because I feel like there is a lot of grief, especially for people who work in climate change or environmental field or who are very in touch with it and care about it. So the email, we'll link it, but it's akburgess.com. akburgess.com. Yeah, so maybe go check it out and see if that might, like, help. I don't know. I still need to sign up for a workshop.
They're free? Oh, you said
they have paid ones and they have free ones. So I think the paid one is like, it's like a 12-week course, and I think the free ones are just random, except for the monthly. They have one every month, and then I think they're just other random times. But yeah. You find the filter?
I'm sorry, I could not find the filter. Like, even after all that. And I didn't save look at this filter, though. And I didn't save the draft for it.
The green in this building is giving me, I don't even know what.
Spooky ooky.
Yeah.
Okay. My hero, which I didn't write in the doc, but I have it on my phone, are two. I don't know if they're two tribes. I'm actually confused on it. But the Salish and Kootenai tribes, who recently got back some land from Montana.
Woo woo. I like to hear that.
So I want to give
That's
a
awesome.
shout out to them. They assumed full management of the former National Bison Range,
Ooh.
which bison, like, historically, were, like, raised. I don't know what the word is, like, domesticated?
Were they by Native American, by indigenous people?
Yeah, by indigenous people, like,
I know that colonizers wiped them
they have
out.
they have a connection. Yeah, well, the colonizers wiped them out because of their connection to Native Americans to starve out, I'm pretty sure, Native Americans. But anyway, so in Montana, they have their land was restored to them by the Montana Water Rights Protection Act, enacted in December of 2020, and it's a 2-year period for transitioning management of the bison range from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to CSKT, which is the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes. So I guess they are 2 tribes, but maybe like a nation of tribes. I'm not sure. And I also want to give a shout out to our Secretary. Secretary of the Department of Interior.
Okay.
Who is a Native American woman.
What is it? Secretary.
Department of Interior.
Secretary of Defense?
No, of Interior. Secretary Deb.
I didn't know about this. Okay.
Deb Haaland, who made history when she became the first Native American to serve as a cabinet secretary. That's Native American, period. And I do believe that, like, even though I'm not, like, super into U.S. government, I do believe that she is making strides, and I think she's partially to, I don't want to take away credit from anybody, like, but I think she does have some credit there because I see her trying to do stuff all the time with different tribes, but I feel like even if she didn't have a part in this, which is completely possible, that she is making strides to kind of, like, focus more on Native American collaboration with Native American groups.
Yeah, which is really important. What does the Secretary of Department of Interior do? Like, what is the Department of Interior?
So the U.S. Fish and Wildlife is underneath the
Okay.
Department of Interior, which is the only reason why I know about it.
Okay.
Environment.
The Department of the Interior manages public lands and minerals, national parks, and wildlife refuge, and upholds federal trust responsibilities to Indian tribes and Native Alaskans. And it's responsible for endangered species conservation and other environmental conservation efforts. So, boom, this is, yeah.
I feel like out of anybody right now working in the
Listen,
government, I would trust her
I'm
more.
assuming the person before her was a white man.
I don't know. Hell no.
I'm just assuming it, and I just don't know if that's the best person.
I don't even know how to find that
taking
out.
care of all of the land. Well, her term started in 2021, right?
Okay,
So,
did it?
Yeah.
2021. Or was it 2020? Tommy Boudreau?
I mean...
Okay, so we found out that the 53rd, the person before Deb, was David Bernhardt, who appears to be a white man.
No offense. You know what? No, I'm not even going to say that. Listen.
So, I mean, I trust her more than him. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
agree. I can't, it is what it is. How do you feel?
Yeah.
I'm
So-
looking for the white eyebrow filter on everywhere that has a filter.
We'll
now.
find it after this. But thank you so much for listening. We went into an hour.
Yeah.
Which will probably be like 45 minutes.
Yeah, it'll even out to the right time.
Stay tuned for our interview with
Hannah Wilson, an awesome person. I don't want to give away anything because they're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
And but they're really cool.
And
so.
we really want to have them back on. Like, our interview is cut short, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's full of useful information.
Yes.
Yay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll just start off by asking what your name is and what your pronouns are.
All right, so my name is Hannah Wilson, and I use they and them pronouns.
Awesome. Welcome. And then just, I guess we kind of know what you do, but just for the people listening to our podcast, we just wanted to know what your title you would say you are, or like what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the farm manager at Yes Farm, which is an urban farm in Seattle. So I do a lot of farming, but I also do a lot of like community building through different events and educational programs for youth and community, and also just working with different organizations and groups to get food out to Black and Brown folks in Seattle.
That's awesome.
I love
How did
that.
you get a? Yeah, it seems really cool. We were looking on the website and we're like, oh my god, we want to work at this farm.
No, literally. I don't know
No,
if
for
we
real.
said it. Like our last question for you was, can we join your farm?
I saw that. I was like, I would love to have y'all. So come on down.
Oh man, that would be so cool. How did you get involved in urban farming or
So
in working in farms, I guess?
yeah, it's a good question because I actually really seriously got into farming like at the beginning of the pandemic. So it hasn't been that long. Like this is like the beginning of my third season as a farmer. And before that, I grew up in California in the Bay Area and would do a little bit of like gardening with my mom and my grandma a little bit, but I was more interested in like sort of like environmental science, and I could see like the impacts of climate change through the different droughts that California was going through at the time. And so I was definitely more sort of in that like environmental science world at first. And then when I moved to Seattle, I majored in environmental science when I went to University of Washington. And then through that, I learned about what environmental justice work was. And then I was learning about, like clean air, clean water, access to green spaces, and then access to food on top of that. And then also all of that being a part of a conversation of climate resilience for like all communities, but especially for Black and Brown communities at the front lines of all of that. And food just kept coming up, but I was definitely more in the restoration world of like, okay, like how do we restore our natural ecosystems, at least to a functioning level so that we can have healthier environments for our communities. And there's always sort of like perennial foods and, the ways that indigenous people have stewarded land for since time immemorial has involved food in their land stewardship. And so I've definitely been in that world. And then I got a job doing sort of outreach and like volunteer management for an organization that was doing that sort of urban forest restoration work. And one of their partners was Yes Farm, where I now work. And the pandemic hit. And so I was like, oh, well, I can't really do my job anymore because I can't bring people or gather people in groups anymore. And I was fortunate enough to kind of like talk to both organizations and be like, would it be possible for me to just kind of, for the time being, like put all my energy towards supporting the farm, even if it doesn't mean like actually gathering people in groups, but actually helping build the farm up to the point where it's like a really amazing farm when people can gather in groups. And so then I was really able to dive into farming there. And I just like have absolutely loved it because it's just that intersection of like actually being in community with people, working in the environment and doing work that's related to that. And not really having to deal with all the stuff in the environmental science world where it's just so white and rural and just kind of scary and not actually like very intersectional in many ways. So that's why I love farming. So yeah.
That's actually a question that came up in my mind was, and I don't know if this is still reality, but when you think of Seattle, you think of very gentrified white area. I was just wondering, and I'm sorry, this is one of our questions. It's kind of like on the fly. How do you or how are you able to focus on Black and Brown populations there? Is there like a subculture of farming
in Seattle?
Yeah, there is. I mean, I think overall in Seattle, between like, all communities, there's just sort of like a deep appreciation for like the natural environment that we have here, just because it's so beautiful. But yeah, I mean, I think that is one of the things that we are constantly like coming up against at the farm when we're doing community work, is like, how do we actually like be really intentional about what we do and reach Black and brown folks, because they're so isolated and starting and already pushed out of Seattle in many ways. And so what we've sort of done is sort of been like, well, we are in like the area that is like the historically Black neighborhood in Seattle, and there's a whole movement basically right now where people are bringing back Black businesses into the central district and sort of trying to provide housing back to Black folks, in hopes of sort of mitigating some of the impacts of gentrification. Of course, that can only do so much because people are already, pushed out and like building communities in new places. But in our work, we definitely try to, or like my basically strategy is to be like, well, I'm gonna partner with Black and brown organizations pretty much only, and then further than that, I mostly work with like public schools, and a lot of those schools will reach out to us being like, hey, we have like all these like, I guess what they call underserved students, right? And they're largely like Black and brown kids. And then we want you to like come into our classroom, or we can do a field trip to Yes Farm. So we're actually able to reach like a lot of Black and brown youth and just like community members, and especially like in the south end of Seattle, there are actually like a lot of Black and brown folks, but it really takes a lot of intention. And I think the other thing that I've seen is that I really have tried to be like, this is not something that we're going to be able to build overnight, like that Black and brown community. Like we can't just be like, oh, like we're a Black farm, like everyone's going to show up on day one and support us, right? Like I think it's been a practice of like being really intentional and like building trust and building long-term relationships with different like organizers and educators, and also just like artists and all these different people in the community who already have that network of like Black folks around them to bring them into this work. And then I think now we have enough of a platform that people are sort of coming to us and being like, oh my God, like I have been looking for something like this for so long. Like, how can I be involved? So I think it's definitely been a building process, and it's now sort of starting to feed back into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's so cool that you're going to schools. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really cool, and I think like it's definitely been a practice of patience. And a lot of times like we have volunteer days and anyone is allowed to come to the farm, and people may be like, oh well, like it's not all Black people at this event. And I say, well, yeah, like I think like we do intentional workshops and like cookouts and like all these events for folks so that they know that like we're doing programming for them. But at the same time, like I still want the whole Seattle community to be able to witness like Black brilliance and like leadership at the farm, because there's so much of it. And then also just, understand that people are gonna come volunteer, if they have the means to. And so I want to really meet people where they're at, as much as I can in that process.
I also realized we didn't define what urban farming is.
Oh yeah, we can definitely do that.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I skipped that question.
Yeah, absolutely. I think urban farming could be a really broad definition. I mean, I really just see it as like anyone growing food in the city, for themselves and also for their community. I think like farm definitely has connotations of like being sort of a bigger space, also just being able to grow enough food to either like sell or distribute. And I do think that that is different from like having a pea patch, which is what we have in Seattle, where anyone can just get like a raised bed or a little patch in a program that's provided by the city that's set aside. But those are very like individualistic, I think. But I think urban farming is more like, okay, like we're growing food on a larger scale, and we're trying to like involve community with it. So that's definitely how I see it um, as a definition. But I think it's definitely could have different definitions depending on who you ask.
Gotcha. I'm looking through the questions we sent you to see like what would be the best transitional question from what you were talking about before. I feel like asking about like decolonizing our relationship with food and farming, how what are, or if you like know any ways that we can do that, because I feel like that kind of ties into what you were mentioning about like traditional farming just not, being very diverse, or well, now I'm getting tongue tied on my words. Maybe not like traditional farming, but like when people think of farming,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, I really try and think about that a lot because it's not really a fear, but something that I'm really trying to um, break away from is that a lot of folks will like go into this work and then just end up perpetuating like the same system that exists because that's what we know. Um, and I think that we all do that in some way, of course. But I think that when we're thinking about decolonizing our relationship with food, like I definitely imagine that, you know, food should not just be seen as like, this is just like my calorie intake for the day and like it's just about health and it's just about nutrition. Um, and only certain people can afford like certain types of foods. Like I think that food is a way to like bring people together. It's a way for us to be in relationship with the land in a really beautiful way, and not just in relationship with it, but like take care of our earth and honor the ways that indigenous people have been stewarding this land for so long, and also use it as a tool for building self-determination and like building towards like liberation for like Black and brown folks, and thinking about how, okay, like if I'm going to learn all these skills, like let me also teach everyone in my community how to do that. Or like if I'm going to have a little garden, like how about I figure out what my neighbors need, and see if I can share some of my food with them, and kind of start creating these like networks of care and like knowledge sharing that has been sort of broken down from capitalism and colonialism over time, because that's exactly what colonizers took away our food supplies, and that's how they like colonized America. They like colonized all of, or they destroyed all of indigenous people's food supplies, and that's how they were able to do what they did basically. And then when we think about slavery, like Black people weren't just brought over here because of their bodies. Like we were brought over here because we had this knowledge and understanding of land stewardship that they didn't have, and so we were great, and so they exploited that to build this capitalist system. And so I think that also thinking about how our ancestors used this, you know, before colonization basically, is also a really powerful way to think about it. It's not going back to old ways or going back to the field or anything. It's more of like, okay, this is powerful. Like this food is power. So how do we bring that back into our communities and also support building that out? And I think that that is what like decolonization is, and also I think too, like putting it in the context of like how farming is abolition work, and how reparations and land back, and giving Black and brown folks the opportunity to actually steward their own land, would actually lead to liberation. And so yeah, I think it's all tied together, and all of that is how we can like sort of decolonize our relationship to food, from like just being this very much like fuel for our bodies type relationship, to understanding that is like really powerful tool, not just for ourselves individually, but collectively too.
And one thing I was thinking of while you were saying that, I read this article. I don't know if either of you have heard of this or we've talked about this before, Hannah, but oranges like 100 years ago were 3 times more nutritious than oranges now. And I think that that's another byproduct of colonization and the capitalism in farming, is the steering away from actually being nutritious for some reason. I don't know if you have any comments or know of any movements behind that to kind of get that back into our food source, if it's even possible. Thing.
I mean, I think a huge part of that is that soil needs to be healthy and happy for our food to be nutritious. And also just the ways that we've like changed the way our food looks, and sort of been like, well, we're going to prioritize, you know, how big the fruit is versus how nutritious it is. And those types of things have really impacted the nutritional value of our food too. And they're just prioritizing, oh, how does it look? Does it withstand like pesticides or pests and like all these different things, versus the actual health of the people eating it, which is very telling, I think.
Yeah, it's sad.
I mean, I think that, you know, like working at Yes Farm and like being a farmer, and someone recently told me the term land worker, which I really liked too, because I think farmer can carry a lot of weight, and like people can kind of feel like, oh, well, I'm not a farmer yet, but I think that everyone can farm, or at least can grow their own food, and show up in their communities through food, whether it's like cooking or being an artist, or, you know, developing a website for a farmer. You know, like us farmers don't always have like the different social media or website skills that are necessary in this world now. And so like understanding that people can play a role in their food system in so many different ways, besides just farming, I think is a big thing that I try and get across to people. And that farming is also very intuitive, and for me, farming has been like a huge healing experience, because it's allowed me to feel like very connected to the earth that I'm working with, and also to the people that I'm around. Like, I'm not even from Seattle, and working at this farm has allowed me to build like this very deeply rooted community, and it's really, really incredible. And I think that everyone would benefit from getting to know where their food comes from, and building their relationship with food, and as a result building like a healthy relationship with the earth and themselves and their community. And also just understanding that I think that this is our like part of our pathway towards like abolition and liberation. And it really does mean that much, I think. So yeah.
It's all around good. I love that. So I guess the last question we wanted to ask you, we might have time for, I feel like we only have time for one. What are some ways that we can help support your movement in Yes Farm?
Yeah. Well, y'all can definitely like always share like our website and social media and let folks know that they can donate. If folks are in the area, they should definitely stop by and hang out with us on Saturdays and Sundays. On Saturdays, I have farm days at Yes Farm from 10 to 3, and it's just a time for folks to either help me with farm tasks or go to a community event that we're putting on, or just to hang out and get to know what we're doing. And then on Sundays, we go out to our more rural farm that we have, and we do a little bit more on the ground work with growing a ton of food. So I think that that's like the best way that people can support our work. I think just talking about this work and talking about people's relationship to food and the land is a huge part of it. The way that y'all are bringing me on is a huge part of it. So yeah, thank y'all so much for having me. Appreciate it.
No, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for talking to us. This is amazing. I feel like 30 minutes is definitely not enough time, but
Yeah, I was
learned
gonna
so much from
say,
you.
please come back on. But also, I'm serious, like,
love that. I would love to talk to y'all for like hours about this, for real.
I want to move to Washington, and like, I would love to just visit the farm one day, hopefully.
Wow.
But
Well, just send me an email, let me know, and I'll probably still be here farming. So.
yeah. Is there for people that don't live in Washington, or what, is there an easy way for somebody to start like a community garden on their own, or is there a lot of politics? I know there's a lot of politics, but I don't know if there's an easy way for them to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think like it definitely takes like commitment and dedication to start a community garden, but I think it's very much possible. I think like first things first is like finding a spot, like whether you're gonna like work with the city on it or maybe do a little guerrilla gardening or something. Testing the soil, making sure it doesn't have any like toxins, or seeing what you need to add to the soil to make sure the food is healthy. And then finding some seeds, maybe finding some other people, maybe some elders who have been farming or gardening for a long time already, who can kind of support, and then going from there. And also always make sure you know where you're going to get your water from. That's a huge one. I think making sure people can tap in with like mutual aid groups and organizers and seeing if those folks can help too can be really impactful as well.
Awesome.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you so much for your time.
Of course. Thank you for having me. And yeah, definitely if you all want to do a longer episode, let me know, and I'm definitely down.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on like half of the questions we wanted to ask, so definitely.
All right. Take care, y'all.
Yeah, have a good weekend.
Thanks for watching. Oh my God. Thanks for listening to this episode. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Conservation Baddies.
And give us a good review.
Give us a review. You want to be reviewed?
I don't know. How much should we ask them for? Review us on Spotify, saying you love the podcast.
Yeah. Give us a review if you love it.
Yeah, give us a review. We're on Spotify, SoundCloud, and we're trying to get on Apple Podcasts. YouTube, yeah.
We're trying to get on more places. So
if you want us to post somewhere, send us a message on Instagram, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.